Use goal seek to find all intersection points. Now we have two equations. Each of these equations is a straight line, and just from geometry, two lines can only intersect in one spot. So I know that I'm only looking for a single answer, a single solution. Let me set up my values. And I can do both of them at once. 32 minus, go get the x coordinate. Okay, and then copy them and double click, copy it down. We're looking for a point where the two values are the same and they're never identical. I think that's where they're the closest. The answer must be somewhere in between 2 and 3. But we'll get a better look at this if we select all three columns. And Excel will assume that the leftmost column is your horizontal axis and that any subsequent columns will be treated as separate y values. So we'll insert a graph. There we go. See how we've got two different series? So the one in blue is marked as the f function, and then the orange one is the g function. And we can see that there is only one point of intersection, and it's somewhere, it looks like, in between 2 and 3. But then the question is, now that we know that, what is the value of that point? Where does it intersect exactly? And goal seek isn't going to be able to set two numbers equal to each other or two columns equal to each other. It's looking for a single solution. So here's the idea for how we're going to figure this out. In the end, I want to know where function f is equal to the same value as function g. Instead, I'm going to subtract function g from both sides and say if f of x is the same, there we go. If f of x is the same as g of x, then when you subtract them, you should get an answer of 0. So instead of setting f equal to g, I'm going to take the difference between the two and set it equal to a value of 0. So we'll set up a difference column. It will be equal to the value of function f, subtract the value of function g. And at first, that value is negative, and then it turns positive. Somewhere in between the negative value and the positive value would be a value where it's exactly 0. So take your row that has the value closest to 0, and we'll do a goal seek. Set the difference cell equal to a value of 0 by changing the x coordinate. There we go. X is 2.8 and 29.2 for both the f and the g values. Okay, now, last thing is how to enter your answer. They want a point, and a point has an x coordinate and a y coordinate. So it should look like 2.8 for your x coordinate and then 29.2 for the y coordinate. And don't put any spaces after the comma. Okay, for those who waited to the end of this video, you could do this with algebra. This is not something that requires Excel. You can add x to both sides, so 10x, and then subtract 4. 10x would be 28, divide by 10, divide by 10. X would be 2.8, which is the same value that I got here. And then to find the y coordinate, you plug 2.8 back into either equation. I'll take the second one. 32 take away 2.8 is 29.2. So on some of these questions, you can just do it with algebra, and that's fine.